back to PipeCast and another of the Pillar series. This episode, Gawith and Hoggarth's Bob's Chocolate Flake. Let's go over that tobacco.
All right, what we have here is Gawith, Hoggarth and Company's Bob's Chocolate. Not to be confused with Samuel Gawith's Chocolate Flake. This is Bob's Chocolate Flake. Now, this is made up primarily of Virginia's red and bright variety in combination I'm not sure of, Latakia and Burley, and that creates this nice flake here, and it's also topped or flavored with cocoa, vanilla, and whiskey. Now, to get a little bit more detailed, and I don't have exactly everything here to present to you, but as far as the percentages, we're able to find out a pretty good bit about this blend just on a simple tobacco reviews post here or column. 82% of this blend is made up of Brazilian, Zimbabwe, and Malawi Virginia leaf. Now, like I said, I have this red and bright Virginia, blending tobaccos that I got from Cornell and Deal. Are they any of those? I don't know. Probably not. But they give us a good representation, at least hopefully on color. Also, the blend is made up of 8% Malawi sun-cured and 2% Malawi burley. Now, here's some burley here. But then also, 8% of the blend is Latakia. And I think that's pretty evident here. You can see some dark spots, but it's overall it's a pretty medium brown to lighter brown flake. And so, I think, based on those percentages, this is pretty much really I'd call it a Virginia with just a touch of Latakia to give it a little bit of something, and then a little bit of burley to kind of give you a little bit more mouthfeel and to have something for those flavors to hook onto. But this is everything that comes in together to make this blend creates a wonderful smoke. So let's get back to it.
All right, well, that was a breakdown.
Yep.
So, Bob's Chocolate.
Yeah, Bob's Chocolate. So this is sort of, I guess it is a first impression, last review. I guess what I maybe out of transparency, I just want to let y'all know what we used to do is we were very earnest and honest about first impression, last review. If we said that this was my first impression by George, that's the first time I was smoking it. We were honest, but we're not anymore. And I hope you can live with us, because it just makes our lives a lot easier. It still technically is first impression, last review. He's been smoking it for years. I've smoked it a handful of times before this moment. So it's not. It still is kind of what we said it is, but it's not as 100%. Okay.
We take liner notes now.
Yeah.
Beforehand. And the reason why is because we have to get everything kind of in one take these days.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us to get together with kids and stuff, so we're trying to make it where we have a full weekly list of reviews for the whole year, and not just we'll miss like 6 months. I think last time we missed a whole year.
Yeah.
We just couldn't get it together.
Yeah, we our last video was like Christmas of 21, and then the very next video was Thanksgiving of 22. So this just helps us keep on schedule and whatnot. So this is Bob's Chocolate. This is a first impression, last review. I will say this blend had been hyped up a lot. I've never had a chocolate aromatic blend before, but Zach had mentioned it. And what was strange was early on in my pipe smoking days, I just assumed Zach was like everybody else. Brick and mortar aromatics, any kind of aromatic, it's just trash. But then he comes over here and says, "Yeah, man, Bob's Chocolate is amazing." And I'm like, "Really?" I didn't know that it was Gawith and Hoggarth or anything like that. I just thought, there's some Bob that he knows that's over here making some chocolate tobacco. But so yeah, there's a lot of hype leading up to this, but it's a good blend. I mean, what I was getting out of it was, so you definitely get the cocoa, and there is some vanilla topping in it as well.
Yeah, there is.
And that's present. On the retro hail is a really nice tart cherry flavor. That's kind of what I was getting out of that. And it's billed as, I can't remember the exact wordage, but it talks about Latakia. It's up front saying this has Latakia in it. Mm-hmm. And so that's there. It's smoky. It's real smoky. It doesn't have the creosote or anything like that, but it's very light. Like I would say the Latakia is lighter than like Chelsea Morning or Early Morning Pipe. It's very light Latakia, but it still brings the smokiness around. So it's a really good blend. I really liked it. It lived up to the hype for me. It's got a great room note or a great tin note. I don't know about the room note. I would assume it's okay. Anytime there's Latakia involved, you don't really know. I mean, I think even just a little bit of Latakia can kind of set some people off who are not into this, tobacco game as far as the room note goes. But it's a good blend. I like it. I was very happy that Zach suggested it. Mm-hmm. It just happened to be they had it in stock at Smoking Pipes, so I was like, I'll get some of that, and it's pretty good. I mean, I guess it could be a rotational, but I'm hard pressed to say something like that nowadays because my smoking schedule is just so out of whack. There is no rotation. It's just, I'm either smoking it for PipeCast or I'm smoking it to revisit, and it's kind of like there is no rotation anymore. Because I don't smoke more than one bowl like a day. And some days I don't smoke any bowls. So it's like I kind of have to fit in like a schedule, fit it into whatever I'm doing. And I don't have a personal rotation. But it's good enough that it could be in it, if I did have a personal rotation. So I'll let you have at it, mister.
I mean, it's a Lakeland. It's a pillar. It's the greatest chocolate flake, rustic flake that you can get, mm-hmm. in my opinion. Gawith and Hoggarth just knocks it out of the park on this. This is as close to a dark chocolatey cocoa that you can get. I think that the layering of the burley tobacco also kind of adds to that flavoring, because burley does have like a nice chocolatey taste. As Patrick says, the Latakia adds a smoky kind of quality to it, but it's so light that it would be difficult to pick up on, probably within the first few puffs for sure, which is not terrible. I think that kind of that discovery makes Bob's Chocolate pretty amazing, because you're sort of having to really dig in to figure it out. But there would never be any complaints about this. This is the most chocolate you can get, pure chocolate. So if you like chocolate, this is what you need to smoke. It's got enough complexity that a purist or someone who's really into tobacco, who maybe would like to have something that's a little bit more pleasant room note, but not, going to destroy their pipe or not taste like anything, just sort of please everyone. This is a good, probably middle ground alternative to just smoking a straight Latakia or Virginia and it smell like smoker's delight. This is kind of a people pleaser a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that the first time I tried it, and the first time I went down to Lakeland, so it was like Bob's Chocolate, and then there was a cherry flake, and licorice flake, and rum flake. Those are kind of what I started with on Lakelands. And then, of course, I branched out to Interdell and, Bosun Cut Plug, and you name it. I kind of went down the road. But those are really good entries, especially rum and chocolate. They're very good.
Yeah.
Established. Licorice is also super good established, where they don't have an overt Lakeland essence that people consider floral or soapy, or grandma's purse like. But this is a very good chocolate, with all the components that you want from a tobacco.
Yeah. Any kind of hesitation one might have to going to Bob's Chocolate, because it is, from the Lakeland area, I think you could dismiss that, because it's.
I don't taste the floral, but I don't mind those floral, soapy qualities that people talk about. They don't bother me. I think if you're hesitant, I would definitely use a corncob or something like that in case you're worried about ghosting too much. But This should be something that not only will you love, you'll return to so frequently that it just becomes a part of a general rotation. Especially if you don't have a Lakeland and or a aromatic in there, having this in your back pocket when you're, let's say you had to go to some sort of Christmas thing out and about. This is something you could smoke at some sort of Christmassy event.
Yeah.
Or I know Christmas is past now, but some sort of public event that it wouldn't scatter a crowd.
No.
I think you keep it.
Yeah.
I think this is just a good thing to pick up and walk out the door with. Yeah. Especially if you're craving something, but you have to be out in public.
Now, I haven't had what I'm about to talk about, but there is the Samuel Gawith Chocolate Flake, and I know you've had it, and you said that it's inferior to this. Now, can you go a little bit more in detail about that?
Yeah, I can. I mean, so this has a fuller tobacco flavoring, so the taste that you're going to get along with the chocolate flavoring, they are melded much more uniformly.
Okay.
And I think the burleys and the chocolate flavoring stand out more.
Okay.
With a kind of smoky undertone from the Latakia, and then that sort of like light sweetness from the Virginia.
Okay.
For some reason, Samuel Gawith CH Flake, I think is what it's called. It's okay. It's not great.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I've smoked tons. I just think if I was having to rank them, I would always go to Gawith and Hoggarth first, and then I would follow up with Samuel Gawith. There's two different formulas. Neither are bad.
Yeah.
It's just my personal preference. And I think maybe if you smoke both of them, you might find yourself in a Pepsi Coke situation. You don't really care either way.
Oh, okay.
I don't think this is a Pepsi challenge or something where it's like, yeah, man, like every time, I think some people might be in a situation where they're like, no, I could like this or I could like that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the more satisfying tobacco flavors are in Gawith and Hoggarth, Bob's chocolate, versus Chocolate Flake of Samuel Gawith.
So Chocolate Flake kind of travels more into that realm of like brick and mortar aromatics, where it's more of just a topping. The tobaccos aren't as good underneath.
For Samuel Gawith.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. That doesn't mean that I know that the formulas are different because I think it's pretty plainly stated.
Yeah.
But like for whatever reason, Bob's chocolate goes hard on having better quality tobacco and a blend that's a little bit more pipe smoker friendly. Yeah. You're gonna like it, or because I like it. What I'm saying is like as a pipe smoker, I can appreciate the tobacco in that.
Yeah.
As someone who just likes Lakeland, they're both good, but this one I think takes it to that next level where the blending expertise are really there. Someone took a lot of care to make sure that it wasn't just like chocolate flavoring.
Yeah. So just to make sure if you're out there looking and you see a Samuel Gawith Chocolate Flake, make sure Bob is in the title. That's what we're reviewing in this episode. I guess technically you could glean information on both of them in this episode.
Yeah,
but I just can't tell you because I've never had it.
If you see Samuel Gawith, pick it up. It's good. Try it, definitely.
Yeah.
But if you're having to make a desert island or some sort of final tobacco decision, I think you'd probably be better served if you've never tried either one to go with Bob's.
Yeah.
The long haul of Bob's is that I think the blend overall is superior.
Yeah. A medium flake with a touch of Latakia. So
they don't I just think that the blend doesn't lean on it's just the flavoring.
Yeah.
And it's the problem with a lot of aromatics, specifically cherry and chocolate, is that they just lean on the flavoring.
Yeah.
And they don't worry too much about the blend itself or any type of components, or if it's enhancing those. Chocolate would be a great enhancement to burley.
Yeah.
So if you had a straight burley flake and you put a chocolate essence on it, and that would be an enhancement to that burley and probably to the flavoring itself.
Yeah. I mean, chocolate, Tonquin bean, those are flavors, star anise, whatever, they lend themselves to just the natural flavor of tobacco. You know, so at least in my opinion, it may be even something sweeter, I guess, for like a Virginia, but yeah, I mean, in this blend, you know, when I hear that it's Bob's Chocolate Flake, I think that I'm about to be smoking like chocolate pudding or something. Like that's my thoughts. And while the chocolate is there and it's up front, it feels more like it's a component. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how when we smoke English blends or Balkan blends, you kind of see that interplay between the different types of tobacco leaf. In this blend, it feels like you have your Latakia, a touch of it, your Virginias, and then there's just chocolate kind of floating around in there. Not really taking too much of a front seat, but just being there and being present. And I don't know, it kind of just works really well. For I think for anybody. I mean, unless you just don't like chocolate. I mean, but like I said, I think chocolate is it's a similar flavor in the realm of like coffee and tobacco. Like they all kind of sit in like an earthy area. And I mean, I would assume that most people, maybe you don't like, you know, sweet chocolate or milk chocolate. Maybe you like dark chocolate, but most people who like some kind of form of chocolate, or anybody who smokes tobacco probably likes chocolate. I would say, I would go out on a limb and say most people like some form of it. They may not like all. Like I said, they may gravitate to the dark chocolate. Like me, I
definitely think that the flavor profile of chocolate lends itself to tobacco.
Yeah.
In any form.
Yeah.
Sweet to bitter.
Exactly. Like, you know, because like I like all kinds of chocolate, but you know I gravitate to dark. I also drink my coffee black, so you know, and then I like, you know, certain tobaccos. So, I think you'd like it. Most people will like this, so you should give it a shot.
Check it out. That's Bob's Chocolate Flake by Gawith and Hoggarth. Thanks for tuning in.